Hey, how's it going? What can I get you? Looks like you need a stiff drink. Something from the top shelf? Hey, Chris, keep it down over there. Don't make me come over there like I did last time. Let me recommend a podcast to you. Kind of a no-nonsense, tell-it-like-it-is podcast. Sit back and relax, and I hope you enjoy this Real Estate and Bourbon podcast. You're listening to Real Estate and Bourbon. Whether you like it neat or on the rocks, you're in the right place. And now your host, Dawn Roy.
Welcome, my dear friends, and welcome to Real Estate and Bourbon. Not really sure how we got here, but it is going to be fun and entertaining because really, as long as I'm entertained, it's all good. So I have been thinking about doing a podcast, but not quintessential real estate based or just talking about houses and how to decorate homes and all that fun stuff. I thought, why don't we go to the backside and look at the good, the bad, and the ugly of things that go on in the real estate profession? Because I think you guys would find that more interesting than what kind of wreath to hang on your door at Christmas. Plus, we're going to be drinking a little because that's what I enjoy, a good bourbon. So I'm thinking we're going on a journey together. I'm not really sure how this is going to pan out. I don't really know where we're going, but I'm going to be engaging. We're going to have guests. It's going to be funny. We're going to talk about things that happen in commercial real estate and residential real estate. And by the way, let's just do some life together. Let's talk personal things. You know, what's it like to do real estate in Richmond, Virginia, 1099 single lady employed trying to make it? I don't know. We'll see what happens. So I'm thinking about now whether producer Mike wants to or not. I'm going to pour it.
Are you going to introduce me? Are you going to
Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
Yes. So wonderful, Mike. You're the one that's pushed me to do this. Because I wasn't really sure. And I'm not really sure now why you even think this is a good idea.
It's never a great idea. So it's just it's an idea that turns into an amazing idea, and then it goes even better. And so it's like, who knows?
Let's do this.
Right.
So you and I are on this journey together.
Yes.
That's how I see it.
That's right.
So my dear friend Mike Resendez, who has done my photography for years and my video, and who I refer you to everybody.
Which I appreciate.
Absolutely. I mean, when good people meet good people.
That's right.
Magic happens. And I want to say it's been, several months ago, you even mentioned doing a podcast. And I said, golly, I don't want to do the crossed arm talking about real estate. You know me.
Well, it's a day and age where you have to change it up a little bit.
Right.
And put yourself out there in ways that you feel uncomfortable. But at the same time, it's entertaining. It's entertaining
because what did I say to you? I said, this will either make my career or put me out of business. Because number one, I think I want to be totally unconventional. I don't want to bring anything that's not authentically me, which is, I'm all about animals, dogs, bourbon, having some fun. And to be honest with you, we do have a swear jar because I love Jesus, but I swear a little bit. I like to cuss.
Okay.
So,
all right.
So the people that don't like to hear a little salty language.
Should we have a sound bite every time?
The children probably should leave the room because we are going to bring it.
Okay.
And keep it real.
Okay.
So, and to be honest with you, regardless of your profession, you can talk about photography and video and all of that, and I can talk about real estate. None of it, sometimes it's just not pretty.
Right.
It's because we're dealing with people.
Right.
And that's what makes all of this so entertaining for me, and I think you might find it entertaining too. And we're going to bring some guests on that we may not even talk about real estate, but they're in the real estate industry, and they're just coming as a person. And that's how you should see us. Because we do real estate doesn't mean we're not people.
Right.
So by the way, we're going to do a different bourbon every week.
That's going to get expensive.
Listen, I am willing to take the hit financially to bring you guys some beautiful stuff. This is Woodford Reserve, which is in a Kentucky distiller, and this is their double oaked. I actually was there back in April. In Lexington, Kentucky, they do a horse show that is a precursor to the Olympics. It's a trial, so it's cross country, it's stadium jumping, and it is dressage. And we went to the distiller. Let's just take a moment. Let's pause for a commercial break. This is good stuff. This is neat, by the way. Oh, dear Lord Jesus. Oh, sweet mystery of life, at last I have found you.
See, I'm not a big drinker. And
well, I make up for that.
I've been to the Jack Daniel's distillery in in Knoxville. Where is it at? It's in Tennessee somewhere.
Yeah.
And I was pretty intrigued on the process and how
oh my gosh,
how everything's, how long it's been there.
Yes.
And, and the multiple
what they have to do
barrels and all the things and all that was pretty interesting.
Well, we'll also do bourbon education along the way because the cool thing is all bourbon is whiskey, but not all whiskey is bourbon. And bourbon is a quintessential American product, meaning if I were to distill whiskey in anywhere in the country except for the United States, I cannot legally call it bourbon.
What?
There was an act of Congress back in the 60s.
Okay.
Super cool, but they do have a very stringent protocol that they have to follow. So it can't, I'm going to talk it off the top of my head. Number one is A of ABCs of bourbon. A is it has to be aged in a new white oak charred barrel. It has to be...
Doesn't it have to stay for a year in the barrel or something like that? Or so
4 is a minimum.
4, okay.
4-year minimum aging process. And that is why, if you do any looking up of history, most professional distillers, once they start this process, they often don't live long enough to taste their third batch.
Oh, okay.
Because of the length of time it takes. So let me honor them and their beautiful contribution to society. This is a good one, by the way. And drinking it neat means without ice or anything.
Okay. And that's how you prefer it?
Well, chemically, ice starts to break it down, and it almost makes it into too much of the alcohol flavor. So that's got a real tight burn on the front end. Oh, that's just lovely. So now let's get back to the show. So, by the way, the swear jar, as you can see, has paw prints on it. When I fill the jar with swear words, with quarters, then we're going to choose a animal rescue to donate it to. And it can be, and you guys are welcome to chime in, but it can be RAL, the SPCA, Ring Dog Rescue, anything that you feel that touches your heart, we want to contribute to, because sometimes that jar will get filled quickly depending on the, shenanigans of the month, or it may take a while to fill the swear jar, but it will get filled because, like I said, Mama does like to throw out a curse word or two, and that's how it goes. And especially when I'm drinking bourbon and I have like a dear friend who, people that are going to join us on this podcast.
Is there a go-to swear word that you go to?
Well, I've got a dear friend who lives in Colorado, and her swear word for 2022 is fucker.
Whoa.
That's the...
Okay.
Just thought I'd throw it out there. I don't know if I have a go-to. It depends on the day and how salty I am.
Okay.
And how many people have cut me off in traffic. That's really it. That's the go-to. But, oh, dear Lord. It's getting a little warm in here. Just saying. A little warm in here. But what I want to do on this podcast, which is, I think is going to be a little different. I want to bring the backstories and really the shit show that sometimes happens in our profession. And I just think it's interesting. Let me think of a recent. So here's a recent story that it doesn't sound like, it's not an ugly story, but it's interesting how people think when you're working with people. So I had buyers fly in from out of state, and they decided to fly into Norfolk because they wanted to experience Williamsburg. They're coming from, I can't remember, Oregon, Nebraska. And we really have an amazing economy here, and we have some cool things in Richmond. So Williamsburg was one of their go-to places. So they were going to land in Norfolk. They were going to Uber into Williamsburg and pick up a car and then drive to Richmond a couple of days later, right? So I had arranged for us to see a few homes, and they sent me a message going, hey, meet us at XYZ coffee place. We'll have a conversation, and then we'll go see some stuff. So I said, well, I've already got us teed up, as a lot of my realtor friends will know, you got to create a schedule, and sometimes it's really tight because some houses only allow 30 minutes or 45 minutes, and you have to kind of be bam, 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 bam. And I said, if you don't mind, just meet me at the first house, then we'll shank around in Chesterfield, and after that, go grab a bite to eat and have a drink or something. So they're like, okay, fine. I pull up in front of a house, and there are two people and all of their luggage sitting on the curb.
What?
And I said, and there was a car on the curb. And I said, well, you guys you can leave your stuff in that car. No one's going to take your stuff, and I'll drive you around, and I'll bring you back. And they're like, well, no, we Ubered here. They had Ubered from Williamsburg. Because when they flew in, the car that they had reserved with whatever, Alamo or whoever they reserved it, were out of cars. And so these people had been standing on the curb for 45 minutes waiting for me to go. And I said, boo-boo, that's really pertinent information I needed to know. You should have just, hey, don't. Because when I said, hey, and listen, you want me to meet you at a coffee shop that's 30 minutes that direction, and we got to come all the way back across town, just meet me at the house. That's when they should have said, yeah, but we don't have a car. We're Ubering everywhere.
So you became a chauffeur.
You
became the Uber.
I became the Uber.
/realtor.
/realtor. That's not true. That's when I said, that's pertinent information on a need-to-know basis, and I needed to know. I needed to know that one.
Do you find that scenario of not knowing certain information makes it frustrating for your profession? Where you get
110 times, yes.
Yeah.
Where
the realtor doesn't give you the correct, or holds out on information that you could have wasted 20, 30 an hour, 5 hours time or whatever, if you would have known
100%. It's just not clients who don't give you the information you need. I have been standing in a house showing a home and it go pending.
Yeah, because no communication.
You were writing on an offer before I was even in the house. Why would you even make me come out there? And you know what that does to a buyer? Do you have any idea what that does to a client? It makes them crazy. It creates frustration for them that I now have to combat, right? I have to now diffuse the situation, because here was a home that they were excited about going to see, that they've gotten pre-approved for. And while we haven't even gone to the first bedroom, my phone's going bing, bing. House under contract, so you take the brunt of the frustration of people. And I get it. Listen, I understand. And this has been the craziest. In April of 2020, I had more agents calling me like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? My business is over. And then fast forward 2 months later, the real estate market has been on fire, and to a point where we can't even accommodate people who want to buy a home. And it's even still that way now, even at 5.5% or whatever the interest rate is today. It doesn't matter. There's such a lack of inventory, and we have got, people are coming from out of state.
Yeah.
Holy potatoes, Batman. Now, I have always thought Richmond to be awesome. We are awesome. If you are a foodie and like to drink, we got you, boo. We got you. But the economy is what drives it. And so you'll have people coming for IT, for Capital One. We have a medical community with MCV. We've got an amazing college community. We have every kind of job you want. We have blue collar, white collar, medical, IT, you name it. And we have a good place for people who are coming from the Northeast, a great place to retire. And a lot of them are following grandchildren down here. That's been the big thing that I've seen, is people moving here because they're chasing kiddos, So it's a great place to retire.
It's crazy.
I love it.
It's grown so
Oh
much.
my God. Oh my God. When I was a kid, you did not want to be in Richmond in the 90s. The 80s and the 90s, like a no bueno.
Uh-huh.
You didn't want to be here. But now we have
and
gotten.
I bet Midlothian and Chesterfield was like Amelia.
Oh, it was nothing. I remember. I don't know if I know I might be a wee bit older than you, Mr. Michael, but back in the day at Pemberton and Broad Street,
Well, I didn't grow up here.
Where did you grow up?
Tampa.
Very cool.
I've only been here for 12 years.
So back in the 80s, literally Pemberton and Broad was farmland. After Pemberton, nothing. And they built a McDonald's. They literally, I never forget as long as I live, they put a McDonald's out there. And I said, man, that's the first McDonald's that'll ever go bankrupt. There's nobody out there. And now you literally you have to go to Gum Springs to be in farmland. You have to go between Charlottesville and here for you to get into anything rural, like Montpelier even. And that's not even rural anymore. So I've seen it change to where, and you're completely correct. Chesterfield was just, Brander Mill was not even a blip on the radar.
Which is crazy.
It's so amazing. But I love it. We have turned into this amazing, very cultural, foodie, brewery, winery, distillery. If you will literally have to take the weekend off not to have something to do. You'll have to consciously go, I'm not leaving my house. Because there's always something to do. And that's what makes us so amazingly diverse. And I think it's what really draws a lot of people to us. I just hit my own microphone. Is that bad? Do we have to retape something?
Oh my gosh.
Another
Never
drink.
touch the mic.
Don't touch the mic. Don't touch the mic. But anyway, that's the scoop here. We're just going to do life together and throw a little saucy, salty language in there and drink some good bourbon and talk about real estate from an angle I don't think's being talked about. Because I think a lot of real estate professionals, and I love my people, but we always want to look like we're in control, and we always want to look like everything's fine, and we always want to make it appear that we've got it handled. And to be honest with you, there's some stuff that the shenanigans and the chicadery that gets thrown at us sometimes, we just don't always have it handled. And I think it's okay to let you guys know what that looks like.
So what do you think, tell them where you think or things you have planned we want to do. Like don't hold out, don't say it all, but
you don't want to give me the secrets out.
Just a little secret sauce.
You know, a girl keeps things close to her heart. Well, I've got some wonderful people that I think we need to introduce you to. I mean, I love the idea. I've got a friend who runs an entire female construction crew.
What?
Isn't that hot?
Wow.
I have a girl crush on these people, I think. I want to talk about, I've got a girlfriend. I'm bringing my 74-year-old aunt on to talk about what it's like dating on dating apps at 74.
Okay.
Because I think that's funny. It's funny. I want to do, part of this is going to be about real estate, but part of it's just life, and how unique it is. And our current culture going on is, we got to talk about some stuff, I think. Mm-hmm. Why not?
Okay.
Let's do it. I've got a friend who is in the Gulf Coast of Alabama who is precious. We're going to talk about some, second homes and what it's like to live in the Gulf Coast region. I mean, I know people all over the United States. Real estate has been such a blessing to me because my background is dentistry. Did you know that?
No, yeah,
I went to the school. I'm a dental hygienist.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I know your wife is a dentist.
Right.
And I was in dentistry for 25 years. Mm-hmm. And everyone is always asking me, how in God's name did you go from, here to here? I mean, what did that look like? And I said, well, it's teeth and people and houses and people. It's all people. Uh-huh. It's all people. And I want to talk about why would that even matter? You know what I mean? You can come from any profession to real estate as long as you have a heart for people. And that's the big thing. I mean, I had a heart for people from a dental perspective, and I have a tremendous heart for people when they're trying to buy their first home or, downsize or accommodate, I've done multi-generational families into one home. And that's a cool experience. But, I just think that we're going to have a lot of different things going on, whether we're talking about, houses or, 74-year-old ladies on dating apps, which is the best thing in the world. And I've got, multiple friends on all locations in this country who can bring a lot of different perspectives to real estate and the real estate experience and things that have gone on in their world.
So on the older people, is it like when you're searching them and they're there one day and they're not there the next day, they could be finding somebody or they could have passed away?
Very true.
Which
And by the
very
way,
weird to think that way.
Someone dying in a home is not material to the house. People are like, well, don't you have to tell me if there are ghosts in the house and someone's passed away? No. It's not material to the home. In the Commonwealth of Virginia, now listen, I can't speak about other states, but in the Commonwealth of Virginia, if someone died in the home, that's not material to the sale of the house.
I have a crazy ghost story.
Okay, well, hold on. Bring it. Let's.
Are you really? What's our time?
What's our time?
Okay, 20 minutes. We're great.
Let's talk about your ghost story.
Are you ready?
I'm always ready.
So we were visiting some friends in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
And no, Memphis. And
great town, by the way.
Yeah. So we're hanging out in the living room just before bed, and something came up about ghosts or whatever. And my friend Brad goes, "Yeah, there's one here in the house, and I see him all the time." And he described him being looking like an old fisherman, bearded,
like
plaid.
Like a vapor of some sort, but he really saw.
Really saw.
That's so cool.
Right? And almost like he just never got fazed by it. It was like, yep, he's there, la la la, And so that night,
do they name him? Does he have a name?
I don't remember that.
Okay.
I don't remember that. So he just looked like a New England fisherman with a beard and hat and the what is it called?
Like the vest, like the fishing vest?
The red and black plaid shirt or whatever,
right.
Long sleeve. And so my wife and I are sleeping, and I see him come through the door.
You didn't. You're lying. Are you serious? You really saw this?
100%. I am not lying. And so I freaked me out. I look over and I go,
like, honey.
I go, no, I scream. I scream and say, hey, hey, hey. And I go to punch, and he's gone.
There's nothing there.
And then my wife saw it too.
Right.
Like, just crazy.
Wow. That's a pretty good story.
Yeah. And
I like
so,
that. Well, I've got a girlfriend here in Richmond, and she works for another brokerage, and we went to that. What is it over there on Route 10? There's the old courthouse building. We did one of those things where you call on the. It was a ghost tour thing, and they would turn the lights out, and we did different things to try to call out the ghost of the house. Never saw one like you did.
I mean,
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Did he look like what was described to you?
Exactly.
So the thing that came down the hallway to you is exactly what your friend said he would look like. And you weren't awake. Asleep.
No, asleep.
I'm sorry, you weren't asleep. You were.
Yep.
Were we doing a little?
I don't.
Okay, I'm just. No judgment.
I don't.
Not
smoke,
judging.
I don't smoke. I hardly drink. So yeah.
That's really cool.
I mean, to this day,
I got to call Nicole up. She wants to go. She'll want to go.
Yeah, they don't live in that house anymore, but
right.
Yeah, it was.
So, speaking of that, when they sold the house, was that something they had to disclose, or are you?
I'll have to ask them. I'll have to ask them. I
don't know.
I don't know.
Was Tennessee part? I mean, there are states that have different disclosures, right? It's you have the national law, the federal law, and then each state has its own set of laws based on regarding real estate.
What about dead bodies? Like if
Paul dies in the house, it's immaterial to the house itself.
Okay.
Per state. Now, if you do meth,
a murder.
If no, not even murder. But if you do the meth, if you cook the stuff, that has to be disclosed because it's a carcinogenic.
I had
Isn't that good stuff?
I had a lady.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
I had a lady come to me one time when I was shooting a listing, and they were not happy that I was in the neighborhood. I was
so neighbors
disturbing-
of the house you're shooting.
Like, she was maybe walking the dog or something like that, but she came to me and asked what I was doing or whatever, and I was flying the drone. And she gave me her, and she asked me what I was doing, and I was at the end of my day, sweaty as get out, and stuff like that. And I told her that I was surveilling a meth lab, and her eyes got super, super big.
And she turns
and
around with the dog
and walks that way.
How to get rid of a nosy neighbor?
I don't feel bad about it at all. I was like,
It was like, I don't need this
There's
lady.
a sign in front of the listing
house that says for sale.
Yeah. What do you think I'm doing?
What do you think I'm doing? It's amazing what people will do or what they'll ask. I mean, and that's what we're going to get involved with. We're going to bring all this fun stuff. Because listen, if I'm not entertained, we're not talking about it.
Okay.
That's how I feel about it. Right?
Yeah.
So there you go in a nutshell.
All right.
Let's do this.
So episode 1 done.
Is this an episode?
This is an
Is that
episode.
what you call this?
Yes.
I'm a professional. Maybe not. This is kind of fun.
Okay.
So you want me just to talk?
That's the whole point of a podcast. Why don't you give a little
This is awesome.
send off to the viewers and look at the camera and just give a nice little send off.
Let's send me off. Let's send you off.
Yeah.
Folks, you best get back here every single week, because if I just get to ramble and drink great bourbon and talk to you, well, that makes my day. And I hope it makes your day too. And at the end of the day, I might cuss enough to fill up a swear jar sooner or later so that we can help some wonderful animal rescues in our area. And daggone it, I can't wait to see you again. You have an amazing weekend. Go out there and be fantastic.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of Real Estate and Bourbon with Don Roy. If you have any questions about something you've heard on today's episode, send us an email to realestateandbourbon@gmail.com.